Cancer, something massive is happening around you right now. October 31st, 2025. This is not just another date on the calendar. It's the day your destiny flips. The wheel of the cosmos is turning, and with every silent rotation, it begins to rewrite a story you thought had already ended. Can you feel it? The air feels heavier, the coincidences too precise, the emotions rising for no reason at all. These are not random moments, they are sacred signals. The universe is whispering, urging your soul to awaken. Maybe lately you felt restless, sensing something shifting beneath the surface of your life. People entering and leaving without explanation, dreams that feel too vivid to ignore, a strange pull toward the unknown. Cancer, this is the stirring of destiny itself. Your energy is aligning with forces far greater than anything you've known before. The patterns you once trusted are dissolving, not to break you, but to free you. The truth is, the old chapter of your story cannot carry the vibration of who you are becoming. The cosmic tides are rising, washing away what no longer serves you. And in their wake, they leave behind the space where miracles will soon take form. But here's what most people miss. Transformation doesn't announce itself with thunder. It begins in quiet moments, a sudden clarity, a voice in your chest that says, something's changing. That's where destiny begins to move. And tonight, under the influence of this celestial alignment, your soul is being called to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. So stay with me until the end of this message, because I'm about to reveal the 3 unmistakable signs that your entire reality, emotional, spiritual, and physical, is about to shift forever. These signs will not just show you what's happening, they will help you claim the power behind it. You are not here by accident. You are here because your spirit chose this exact moment to awaken. The universe doesn't make mistakes, it makes divine timing. Welcome, dear Cancer, to Buddhist teachings, where the ancient wisdom of the stars meets the quiet truth of the soul. If this message already resonates with something deep inside you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Not for the algorithm, but to keep this circle of energy growing. Your support allows us to continue bringing messages of light, healing, and cosmic alignment to souls around the world. Now, take a deep breath, because what comes next may just change the way you see everything, even yourself. The collapse of the old timeline. When Cancer falls into divine alignment, there comes a moment when the world you've built with trembling hands begins to tremble on its own. The walls you once leaned on start to whisper their cracks. The plans, the people, the dreams you thought were unshakable, they begin to fade, quietly, like the end of a song that once defined your life. And in that silence, Cancer, you might ask, why is everything I trusted disappearing? But this isn't punishment. It's renovation. Cosmic renovation. The universe is not tearing you apart, it's dismantling the scaffolding of your old timeline, the structure that once held your identity, so it can make room for the version of you that remembers its own divinity. You see, the collapse doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to reveal you. Astrologically, your ruler, the moon, stands in a rare communion with Pluto, the planet of death, rebirth, and ultimate truth. This alignment doesn't speak in words, it speaks in waves. You feel it deep in your chest, that heavy pull, that trembling sense that something sacred is unraveling. This is what mystics once called the dark night of the soul, when everything familiar turns strange and every answer dissolves before your eyes. Relationships fall away, not out of cruelty, but because they can't survive the altitude of your awakening. Secrets surface like old ghosts demanding release. Work, purpose, and passion shift under your feet. It's terrifying, yes, but beneath that fear is something else, clarity. The moon reflects every emotion you've ever buried. And Pluto, relentless in its truth, digs until there is nowhere left to hide. Together, they choreograph the collapse, a sacred demolition. And so, Cancer, when you find yourself standing amid the ashes of what used to be your comfort, remember this, ashes are not endings. They are beginnings in disguise. There will be days when everything feels like it's unraveling. The friendship that once anchored you no longer feels safe. The job that once defined you suddenly feels too small for your soul. It's okay. This is the universe saying, you've outgrown the room you built for yourself. Revelations arrive not as thunder, but as whispers. Small truths you can no longer ignore. The person you pretended to be, the one who said yes to everyone but themselves, cannot survive in this new timeline. Your old life is not collapsing because you did something wrong. It's collapsing because you finally did something right. You listened. You may feel the pull to retreat, to step away from noise, from people, from responsibilities. You may crave silence like air. That isn't weakness. It's a sacred calling to return home to yourself. Cancer, your solitude is not loneliness, it is incubation. Within your stillness, your new self is forming. The universe often removes the audience so you can hear your own voice again. Let the world fall silent. Let the old conversations fade. You are not meant to chase what was. You are meant to receive what will be. When emotions surge, grief, nostalgia, anger, exhaustion, don't fight them. Feel them fully. Cry, scream, rest, breathe. This flood is not chaos, it's baptism. Every tear that falls is washing away a layer of outdated energy that no longer belongs to you. Imagine your life as a film reel. The universe has paused the projector. The story you've been living, its roles, its endings, has run its course. You're not losing your story. You're being invited to write a new one. And maybe, for the first time, you'll write it in your own voice. You're not falling apart, you're falling into alignment. Let that truth echo inside you. What feels like collapse is your soul adjusting its orbit, aligning with a greater gravity, one that doesn't pull you downward, but inward. You are not meant to fix the ruins. You are meant to walk through them with open hands and say, I release everything that blocks my higher purpose. This is how the new energy begins, not with resistance, but with surrender. So tonight, as the moon rises, your moon, know that it's not watching you break. It's witnessing your rebirth. The tides within you are shifting toward something luminous. The old film reel has stopped, but the next frame waits, shimmering, unwritten, full of promise. The collapse is not the end of your story, Cancer. It's the part where you finally step into who you were always meant to be. I release everything that blocks my higher purpose. I trust the collapse. I trust the timing. I trust myself. Because sometimes, to rise into alignment, you must first learn how to fall, beautifully, bravely, and free. The awakening of quantum synchronicities. When the universe starts speaking your language. Have you ever noticed how, sometimes, life begins to echo back at you? A song that plays at the exact moment your heart needs it. A stranger who says the very words you were too afraid to speak. The number 1111 glowing on your phone, over and over again, until it feels like time itself is winking at you. These are not coincidences. They are the whispers of the universe, speaking your language, the language of alignment. For Cancer, this season marks a rare moment when the veils between thought and reality grow thin. The cosmic currents of Mercury, the messenger, intertwine with Neptune, the keeper of dreams and intuition. Together, they create a bridge, a quantum corridor through which meaning begins to travel faster than logic can explain. You are no longer merely living in the world. You are in conversation with it. There's something extraordinary that happens when you begin to awaken to synchronicity. Your life stops feeling random. Every encounter, every delay, every unexpected twist begins to hum with a hidden rhythm. It's as if reality itself rearranges to meet the melody of your energy. You start realizing that you were never chasing signs. You were becoming one. This awakening doesn't arrive with fireworks or loud revelations. It happens in the quietest spaces, in the way your chest expands when you suddenly understand something you can't quite put into words, or when you feel a deep, inexplicable knowing that you are exactly where you're meant to be. It's subtle, yet profoundly real. Cancer, you of all signs are built for this sensitivity. Your heart has always been a tuning fork for invisible frequencies. You just never realized how cosmic that gift truly is. Your empathy, your intuition, your ability to feel others' emotions are not burdens. They are the very instruments that allow you to receive messages others might miss. When Mercury and Neptune align, that instrument amplifies. Your inner world becomes a radio signal that can translate divine timing into human understanding. In psychology, we might call this pattern recognition. In spirituality, we call it synchronicity. But beneath both definitions lies the same truth. Consciousness is not a closed system. Every thought, every emotion, sends ripples outward into the quantum field, and those ripples return as reflections, symbols, and chances. The number sequences that find you, 222, 333, 555, are not arbitrary. They are echoes of your own energy calling itself home. When you start to live in alignment, your outer world begins to mirror your inner state. If you walk in gratitude, the universe responds with grace. If you vibrate in fear, the world will echo uncertainty. This is not punishment, it's feedback. It's the cosmos showing you what frequency you are broadcasting. I often tell my students, gratitude collapses the distance between desire and manifestation. Because when you give thanks for what's already unfolding, you signal to the universe that you're fluent in its language. Gratitude says, I trust you. And trust is the grammar of miracles. Here's something you can do this week. Keep a 7-day synchronicity journal. Write down every moment that feels too aligned to be random. The songs, the numbers, the words, the faces. By day 3, you'll start noticing patterns. By day 7, you'll realize that you are not finding them, they are finding you. That's the universe confirming that your energy has entered coherence. For Cancer, this is a turning point in perception. You are no longer the empath who absorbs the world. You are the conscious co-creator shaping it. You've moved from reacting to receiving, from surviving to signaling. You are learning that your emotions are not waves to drown in but frequencies to direct. When synchronicities appear, don't rush to decode them like puzzles. Instead, feel their resonance. Ask, what part of me is this reflecting back? Sometimes, a repeated number isn't a prophecy. It's a mirror. It's the universe saying, you're aligned. Keep going. We are living in an age where science and spirit are beginning to agree. Quantum physicists speak of entanglement, particles communicating across space and time without contact. Ancient mystics called it unity consciousness. Different words, same truth, everything is connected. Every whisper of wind, every heartbeat, every coincidence, all threads in the same cosmic fabric. And maybe, just maybe, the universe doesn't speak in words at all. It speaks in symbols, sensations, and timing. It speaks in what you feel when you see that number again or when that melody plays at the perfect moment. The question isn't whether the universe is speaking, it's whether you are listening. So tonight, when you see 11:11 on the clock, don't just make a wish, make a declaration. Whisper, I am awake. Because that's what these signs are calling for. Not superstition, but awareness. The realization that you are in a living dialogue with existence itself. In the end, synchronicity is not about predicting the future, it's about participating in it. Every sign, every number, every echo from the stars is an invitation to remember. You are both the dreamer and the dream. And in that realization, Cancer, your entire world begins to shift. Not because the universe finally noticed you, but because you finally noticed it had been speaking to you all along. The reversal of karma, when the universe returns what was once lost. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the scales finally begin to balance. Not through revenge, not through struggle, but through divine timing. For Cancer, that moment is now. After years of giving, waiting, forgiving, the wheel begins to turn in your favor. The seeds you once buried in pain are finally pushing through the soil, ready to bloom under a kinder sun. This is what we call the reversal of karma. It's that sacred instant when the universe starts returning what was once lost. Saturn, the planet of lessons, turns retrograde in your sign, inviting reflection, while Jupiter, the planet of expansion, opens the gates of blessing. Together, they form the rarest alignment, the one where justice no longer needs to be demanded. It simply arrives. For so long, Cancer, you've carried the weight of unspoken grief. You've endured storms that few understood. You loved people who were not ready to receive it. You stayed soft in a world that rewarded hardness. But here's the cosmic truth, every tear you shed became currency in the higher realms. Every act of kindness you gave in silence was recorded in divine memory. And now, those credits are maturing. You will start to see the signs. Truths once hidden will surface, not to hurt you, but to free you. The ones who deceived you will face their own mirrors, not by your doing, but by universal law. Old dreams, the ones you gave up on because life demanded you be practical, will begin to circle back in new, elevated forms. This time, you won't have to chase them. They'll recognize you by your vibration. This is the essence of karmic reversal, not punishment or reward, but restoration. The energy you sent out returns, refined, multiplied, and aligned with who you've become. The person who once suffered becomes the person who understands. The wounded empath becomes the empowered oracle. I've always believed that karma is not about debt, it's about rhythm. Everything in the universe moves in waves. You exhale what you no longer need, and you inhale what is meant for you. But when we resist, when we cling to bitterness or rush divine timing, the rhythm falters. That's why humility and gratitude are not moral virtues, they're spiritual technologies. They keep you aligned with the pulse of the cosmos. Cancer, your power has never been in control. It's always been in surrender. You are not here to manipulate the currents, you are here to channel them. The moment you stop trying to force what's already destined for you, life begins to deliver in abundance. The universe does not need your struggle, it needs your openness. Say it softly, and let it echo through your spirit, I am ready to receive what I once only dreamed of. You might notice a shift inside you, not excitement, but peace. The anxiety that once filled your chest begins to dissolve. That's how you know the reversal has begun. Because karmic justice doesn't arrive with fanfare. It arrives with stillness. The moment you stop chasing closure, it finds you. The instant you stop proving your worth, the world begins to mirror it back. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The same heart that once broke from loving too deeply now becomes the vessel through which divine compassion flows. You begin to understand why it all had to happen. Why the loss, the delay, the rejection were not detours but calibrations. The universe was never punishing you. It was preparing you for expansion without ego. There's a quiet dignity in divine justice. No need for I told you so. No need to look back. The karmic tide carries everything exactly where it belongs. All that's required of you now is grace. Grace to accept blessings without fear, and grace to forgive those who never apologized. This, dear Cancer, is your spiritual harvest. You've spent lifetimes learning how to feel. Now you will learn how to receive. Your sensitivity, once a wound, is now your compass. It doesn't just read emotions, it reads energy. It can sense opportunity before it knocks, love before it's spoken, healing before it's visible. As this reversal unfolds, life will feel strangely familiar, like déjà vu wrapped in peace. You'll recognize faces from your past, but the story will be different. The dynamic has shifted because you have shifted. The lessons have been integrated. The energy is now yours to direct. And as you walk into this new chapter, remember this truth. Karma does not forget. But neither does it rush. It moves with precision, with compassion, and with perfect timing. You don't need to demand balance. You simply need to be present when it arrives. So breathe, Cancer. The waiting is over. The current is turning. Every loss, every unanswered prayer, every sleepless night is now being rewritten into something radiant. What was once taken from you returns, magnified, not because you begged for it, but because you grew enough to hold it. Your destiny is not delayed. It was ripening. And now, as the stars align, you are stepping into the moment where the universe says, it's your turn. The era of becoming, when the universe chooses you. There comes a moment, rare and almost sacred, when the universe doesn't just whisper, it opens a door. And not for everyone. It opens it for the soul that has walked through storms, carried lifetimes of weight, and yet still chooses love over bitterness. Cancer, that soul is you. October 31st, 2025 isn't simply a date, it's the cosmic threshold where destiny itself changes direction. The wheel has turned, and this time, it's turning for you. For so long, you were the seeker, searching the skies for signs, praying for alignment, waiting for life to make sense again. But now, the energy shifts. The seeker becomes the signal. The one who once followed synchronicities now emits them. You no longer chase miracles, you command them. Because you have become one with the current of creation itself. Every trial you endured, every silence you survived, every goodbye you never understood, It was never punishment. It was preparation. The universe doesn't take from you to wound you. It takes to refine you. It carves away what cannot pass through the next doorway. Like fire shaping gold, your spirit was molded for this exact vibration. The collapse you thought would destroy you was simply the cracking open of your shell, the moment your light could finally escape. Cancer, you are the archetype of rebirth. Like the moon that rules your sign, you have learned to wane without fear, to disappear without losing faith, to rise again brighter each time. That's what makes this moment so powerful. You have aligned your emotional tides with the cosmic sea itself. The universe is not apart from you. It's within you. When I look at this alignment, Saturn's wisdom behind you, Jupiter's abundance before you, I see a sacred geometry unfolding in your chart. It's as if the stars have conspired to write your resurrection into their orbit. This is the era of becoming. The moment where identity dissolves and essence takes form. You're no longer here to seek permission from the world. You are here to declare your presence within it. And this is how you activate it. Right now, with intention. Speak it aloud or type it into the comments if you must. I claim my new destiny. My soul is ready. When you say it, you're not just affirming a hope. You are sending a frequency into the quantum field, a signal that tells reality, I am no longer who I was. The act of claiming becomes a ritual, a declaration that your soul has stepped across the threshold. Feel that shift in your body. The heaviness that once anchored you begins to lift. The air feels different, clearer, almost electric. That's the moment when energy recognizes its master. You. In myth and in scripture, this is the crossing moment, the exodus, the resurrection, the ascension. Every civilization has described it differently, but the essence remains the same, the point at which a human ceases to merely survive and begins to radiate. That's what's happening now. You are not walking into a future, you are becoming it. And maybe that's the most beautiful irony of all. The universe didn't just open a portal. It chose you to walk through it. It recognized your vibration, the tenderness you carried even when the world hardened you. It saw that your compassion survived the fire. And it said, yes, that one. So as you stand at the edge of this new era, remember, nothing was lost. Everything that left your life was returning in its purest form. The friendships that faded, the dreams that dissolved, even the faith you thought you misplaced, all of it returns now, stripped of illusion, polished by time. The universe never takes without the intent to return. It just waits until you are ready to receive in full consciousness, without fear, without need. Picture it now, a horizon breaking open after the storm, the light spreading quietly across the ocean, your reflection no longer trembling but calm, assured, luminous. This is what it means to be reborn, not into someone new, but into the person you were always meant to become. You are no longer the wounded empath hiding behind your shell. You are the illuminated oracle standing in the open, shining so others can find their way home. You have become what you once sought. You are the sign, the answer, the evidence that healing is real. And so I say this to you, Cancer, not as a prediction, but as a knowing, your miracle timeline begins now. Stay aligned, stay faithful, stay awake, because the light that once guided you is now shining through you. The era of becoming has begun. And it begins with you. Take a deep breath, Cancer. You've reached the threshold, not an ending, but a beginning written in light. The chaos, the silence, the strange coincidences, all of it was preparation for this exact vibration. What once felt like collapse was only the sound of your old frequency dissolving, clearing the way for truth. Now, as you stand before this invisible doorway, the universe is not asking you to understand. It's asking you to remember who you are. You are no longer the seeker. You are the signal. You no longer chase alignment. You are alignment. The light you were waiting for has always been within you, quietly burning beneath the weight of doubt and duty. And tonight, under this celestial turning, that inner flame becomes your guide. Every lesson, every heartbreak, every delay was never punishment, it was initiation. The universe wasn't testing your faith, it was teaching your power. Let this be your moment of surrender, not in defeat, but in awakening. When you exhale, release everything that cannot travel with you. When you inhale, feel the vibration of new life expanding through your chest. Whisper it aloud. I claim my new destiny. My soul is ready. Those words are not poetry, they are keys. Each syllable opens the next door. Each breath aligns you deeper with your higher path. From this point forward, the universe will respond to you in real time. Thoughts will become bridges, emotions will become compasses, and peace will become proof that you are on the right timeline. You don't have to chase miracles anymore, Cancer. You command them by existing in truth. Remember this, every ending that broke you was carving space for grace. Every silence that scared you was teaching you how to hear your own intuition. And every delay was divine choreography, ensuring you would arrive here, not too soon, not too late, but right on time. So step through this portal with faith. The old world fades behind you. A new vibration hums before you. And as you cross, know this truth. Your destiny isn't waiting somewhere ahead. It's rising from within you, right now. Stay aligned, stay awake, and let your light lead the way.